want to be a better athlete, or doctor, lawyer, executive, architect, teacher, artist, or simply just a better you? If I told you there was something you could do, something simple that can help you become more efficient and more effective and have a higher level of performance at everything that you do, would you want to hear it? Or would you want to stay in that darkness without that vision? So come with me into my vision, and I will share with you the secret that I learned as an optometrist in neurovisual development on how you can tap into your body to become more efficient, more effective, and have higher performance in everything that you do, from work to play to every day. So think of things like driving or cooking, becoming that master chef that you always wanted to be, or getting off the computer quicker, or maybe it's spending more time playing with your kids, or catching that ball. So come with me and I'll show you how you can tap into your body, creating a better lifestyle, getting your life back, and having time for those things that really matter. Let me tell you about our natural developmental sequence, the secret. You've seen a newborn baby, right? One thing we all have in common is we've all been babies. Did you know that babies are born with huge instinctive desires? For example, one of them would be staring at their family's faces and trying to recognize what's there. Their vision's not fully developed yet, and they barely got any depth perception. But babies have an even bigger instinctive desire, one that will affect each and every one of us for the rest of our lives, every day, for as long as you live. And it will affect your efficiency and your effectiveness. Do you care to venture to guess what it is? Let me start with this. When a baby is born, it's born with its entire brain and almost all its brain cells, but its brain is mostly disorganized. That's right, we are born with a disorganized brain. Did you think that when we're born into this world, we come in knowing how to control our eyes and our arms and our legs and knowing how to see? No, we don't. When we're born, we come into this world with no purposeful movement. We have no voluntary control over our arms or our legs or our eyes or our vision. We flop. So what does it look like to have a disorganized brain? What does that mean? Well, for a baby, for example, they may try to reach for something like a toy. And for starters, their eyes are going all over the place. So they can't quite tell where it is. And then their arms are flailing all around and they have no control over their arm movement. So they may try to reach out for that toy, but they'll miss and be off target. And what does it look like for an adult to have a disorganized brain? Well, it's much the same. They may flail around in life and not necessarily accomplish or achieve everything that they wanted to do and have a lower level of performance. When there's disorganization, there's chaos and nothing makes any sense. And then over time, gradually, with sensory motor experience, there starts to be purpose and direction, and everything becomes more meaningful and precise. Did you like my improv? So let me repeat that for those of you who haven't heard this before. With sensory motor experience, the brain starts to organize itself, and the baby is able to develop purposeful movement, like being able to control its eyes and its body. Higher levels of precision in eye and body movement is a reflection of higher levels of organization in the brain. And the more and higher organized the brain is, the better and more precise we can be in our life to have higher efficiency and higher performance. So now, have I answered your question? What is the baby's #1 instinctive desire? That's right. The baby's #1 instinctive desire is to organize their brain. And this is a huge responsibility, one that will affect the baby and you for the rest of your life, every day in everything that you do. So now let me ask you, how good of a job did you do as a baby at organizing your brain? I didn't know how disorganized my brain was until I got to university. My performance was majorly impaired by not being able to organize myself in space and time and not being able to read properly. And I didn't know that all of these things were connected. So how does a baby organize its brain? What can a baby possibly do that can't even walk yet to rise to the monumental challenge of organizing its brain? I'll give you a hint. Remember, organizing the brain requires sensory motor experience. And sensory motor experience requires movement. What is the first type of purposeful movement that a baby does, usually before walking? Anybody want to guess? It's the simplest thing that you could never imagine would have such a monumental impact. And no, it's not screaming and crying. Yes, it's crawling. It's true. First, by crawling with the belly on the ground, and then by crawling up on all fours with the belly off the ground. That's called creeping on hands and knees. And when the baby starts to crawl on its belly, with the belly on the ground, it activates the core, and this starts the belly-brain dance. Did you get that? It starts the belly-brain dance. Our belly, as is the baby's, is our center of gravity, and this is a metaphorical button that activates our brain to activate our eyes and our vision to allow us to be more effective and efficient in our lives. And now we go from the piano to the floor. As the baby starts to crawl on its belly across the floor, it's dragging its center of gravity to get this tactile sensory feedback that it needs to develop body awareness and a knowing of where it is in space. And this allows us to develop horizontal eye tracking, which is going to give us visual scanning and allow us for proficient reading later in life down the road. And now we come to crawling on hands and knees, which is creeping. And as the baby lifts its center of gravity up off the ground, it defies gravity and it starts to develop convergence, which is its eyes start to come in and get depth perception and more visual awareness. You may or may not know that the brain and vision development is interdependent on the entire body. And this is how the baby builds our neurological foundation for vision. And now we rise to the occasion. PhD neurophysiologist and educator Carla Hannaford teaches us that as we initiate movement and we get sensory stimuli, it encourages our brain cells to grow connections to other brain cells. And this allows nerve cells to grow connections to other nerve cells. And this forms pathways of nerve connections that form superhighways. And this allows us to act on our world in a highly efficient way. This is true for babies as it is for adults. So as adults, we continuously grow more and more complex layers of nerve networks, just like building a high rise, starting with the foundation and adding more levels as it grows. The higher levels of nerve networks are continuously reaching down to the lower levels of the brain so that we can become a very efficient integrator of knowledge. Just like a building, When we don't maintain this foundation, it collapses. We learn from Michael Merzenich, a neuroscientist at the University of California, that the brain retains this capacity for learning throughout old age. So as we engage in novel behavior and novel activity, our brain actually continues to grow and rewire itself. And this is great news. For us, it means that we have the capacity to continue to grow and learn and become more efficient and effective in our life. And we now know that the brain retains a very high level of functional plasticity. We've learned about this as published in the journal Dialogues in Clinical Neuroscience that was authored by Francisco Mora. And now let's dance to the occasion. Let's come back to the importance of this belly-brain dance. Let's recap. Number 1, your brain, which starts out as being disorganized. It's more disorganized than your most disorganized desk. Number 2, your belly, your center of gravity. This is where it all starts to activate your brain, to activate your eyes and your vision. It may interest you to know that your eyes are actually part of your brain, not separate from it. They develop from the same tissue, the neural tube. And number 3, your vision. Your vision is actually a very complex process. Only less than 10% of your vision occurs in the eyes. The other, more than 90%, happens in your brain, along with your sense of touch and body awareness. Vision emerges, meaning it's learned and developed through the process of our body coming to terms with gravity. And this is the belly-brain dance. It starts on our belly, our center of gravity. Vision is what links our brain and our body. Or in other words, the link between our brain and our body is our vision. So what? Vision is our dominant sense. It allows us to direct action and derive meaning. It is the most far-reaching and the most efficient sense that we have. It consumes more of our brain than all of our other senses combined. So vision is way more than seeing, and it takes way more than our eyes. Vision is knowing where we are in space. It's knowing where everything is all around us and knowing what everything is. It's using proper eye movements and your side vision so that you can direct proper action. This allows us to have more precise action, more direct hand-eye coordination, more general body coordination, so that we can be more effective, more efficient, and have a higher level performance in our life and everything that we do. When we crawl on and off the belly as an adult, we reestablish that connection to our core. We reactivate the areas of our brain that will stimulate our vision and help us be more efficient, more effective, and more productive, have higher level of performance in our life and everything that we do. So what do you say we all start crawling? Activate your body to activate your core, to activate your brain, and activate your vision. I know I will.